I do not know why I didn't get one for like the first 5 years of me taking care of plants. Finally feel like I've figured it out a little bit because it had been sitting in my home for far too long, just like going wrong. Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. Happy freaking December, everybody. How is it December already? I do not understand. Time has absolutely flown this year. 2023, I don't know where it went, but it is officially December, so I thought I would share with you my favorite plants from the previous month, November, what really worked in my collection, what I'm feeling good about, what I love right now. I think I've got 10-ish plants on here, and then a couple planty things as well to share with you today, and things that I'm just like really excited about and I want to be sharing with y'all. Before we get into that though, I just want to say, if you're new here and you don't know me already, hi, my name is Emma and I make houseplanty content all over the internet. So if you want to follow along with my houseplanty journey and maybe learn something along the way, stick around, watch some more of my videos, and subscribe to my channel. If you're not new here, thanks for coming back. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy this video as well. Let's get into it. The first plant that I want to talk about is my Pallidiflorum. And I do want to say, this is a combination of two Pallidiflorums. The one at the back here is the one that I got for my birthday, which is doing very, very well, might I add. I'm pretty sure when I got it, all the leaves were about this long. And this is the newest leaf on that one. But then one of you also very kindly sent me another, and it is just gigantic. And this was months ago that this came into my life, and I only just potted them up together. They were both in sphagnum moss until very, very recently, and I decided that I would just prefer to have one big plant all together than two smaller ones. Well, I mean, this one's not small by any means, but instead of having two, just having one and combining them and making them this beautiful big thing, and I am so glad I have. Also, I do want to just like generally disclaimer, any of these spots that you're seeing on my plant leaves, that is sulfur fungicide. I'm in the middle of treating everything. If you've not seen my plant tours video, which was a couple weeks back, where I was treating everything, that's what I'm currently doing. Joy! But I have washed some of them off for this video, or bits of them. Some of them have spots. It's just how my collection is at the minute, the reality of everything, and I can't be bothered to wash everything every time I'm going to film a video. So it's just going to have to be part of it. Anyways, back to the Pallidiflorum. I am just astounded by this plant. I think it is so beautiful. I love seeing when new ones come in. I have a new one coming in right now, a new leaf coming in right now on the old, or on the smaller plant, which I'm really looking forward to. It did lose a leaf in the transition. I accidentally knocked it off, which is my own bad. But I'm hoping that it continues to grow and get bigger and fill out. I also kind of love the way it sits. I currently have this on a high shelf in my bedroom because it already sits going downwards. It needs to be on top of something high. It can't just like sit on a table, because then these leaves would get all crumpled, and we don't want that. So it's kind of the perfect plant to put up higher, whereas a lot of my other anthuriums, when I've put them higher previously, they'll like face downwards, whereas this one I feel like is meant to do that. It wants to do that, and so I feel like it is perfectly suited for where it is in my home, and I'm really loving it. I think it's so pretty and cool, and the leaves are so like velvety, and I think it's changed my opinion about strapping anthuriums, because before I wasn't that big of a fan. I didn't really think that I wanted one ever, but then I saw the Pallidiflorum and how it's like velvety and strappy, and it piques my fancy so much more now. I feel like I genuinely would be interested in getting into more strappy anthuriums. So maybe that's something for 2024. Who knows? Maybe. Anyways, I feel like that was a perfect place to start. I feel like we've been seeing a lot of it lately, and it's been sending me on an absolute freaking roller coaster ride. Last month it was in my least favorites batch, my like plants that I am struggling with / hating the most. And then this month it's back in the favorites. It is my Hoya Polyneura. And yes, I am still treating it for flat mites, given I have not seen any on it recently. Not that I've been checking super duper carefully, I've been trying not to touch it too much. But the other day, I was just having a look at it, and I noticed these. Like, it's gonna bloom. I was so excited. And then, I noticed this. It's already freaking bloomed, and it is so, so beautiful. Oh my god, it's got nectar on it now. Should I try it live on camera? So last time I looked at it, it didn't have any nectar on it, but now it does, so I'm tempted to try it. Okay. So, again, this one's like really, really sweet. I mean, it is nectar after all, but it's not as like rich tasting as the, oh, what was it? Rosita is. I feel like that one had a very rich, like, heavy tasting nectar, like very, very almost sickly sweet. This one didn't taste quite as sweet. It also doesn't smell as sweet. It's not got as overwhelming of a smell. It smells kind of like honey. Instead of like treacle syrup or like golden syrup, it smells like honey, which is very fun. But just seeing these flowers has made my month. It like gives me hope in that all of these treatments that I have been working on for like weeks and weeks and weeks now are hopefully going to pay off, because this plant has never once bloomed for me in the couple of years that I've had it. And then now that I've done the sulfur treatments, it's giving me 2, which I can't believe it, and it makes me so excited for like the rest of my collection. Ooh, there's the sun. It's very bright. It's making me very excited for the rest of my collection, and hopefully they do well with this treatment as well. I still haven't pulled out a microscope on this one to check to see if it is flat mite free, but I can't see any with my naked eyes, which I could previously. I was able to identify flat mites without a microscope before on this one. That's how I noticed it originally. So it's very, very possible that it has helped and gotten rid of them. But obviously I can't guarantee that until I go in properly and look with the microscope. But I'm not going to do that for a little while yet. I have time with this one. I don't think it is quite necessary yet. And this has just been one treatment, so I think I'm going to at least try another couple treatments before I do anything else. But until then, I just get to excitedly watch these little blooms come out and watch as these ones exist. I just think they're so pretty. They're much more like starbursty than the previous ones. Like the back bits are very long and skinny, whereas I feel like with my Croniana and my Rosita they were more flat, whereas these ones are more three-dimensional, which is really, really cool, and I'm really freaking excited about this plant, and it's just doing so well. Yay. I feel like it's been an absolute freaking roller coaster of a plant. I did not at all expect it to be so up and down. Sorry, I'm really struggling to get this to sit nicely. Yeah, I did not expect it to be so up and down, and like, I'm not mad about it. I'm glad that it's come back into my good books, but it's just been like a lot recently with that one. Another bit of exciting things, I mean this whole video is about exciting things, but it is my Sansevieria Mettalica Propagations. So, This month, I decided for the first time to try some Sansevieria propagations in water. I have previously propagated Sansevierias by dividing them, but I've never had success propagating them in water. So these two blades fell off the plant ages and ages ago, and I just kind of let them sit to callus over for, I'm pretty sure, months. Just left them for months. And I finally decided that it was time to put them in some water to see if I could get them to propagate. And I posted a reel about it because I was like saying, has anybody had success with this? I got so many comments that were like, it's gonna take 6 months, it's gonna be forever, like, don't hold your breath. It's going to take a long time for these to root. And then I was looking at it 6 days later. It's got roots. One of them has roots already. 6 days after I put it in the water. 6 days! Like, that is so far different than 6 months. I was shocked when I saw this. Like, I feel like I could plant this in soil now. Like, it's ready at this point, which is crazy. The other one, I should say, doesn't have anything on it. Like, no roots on this one yet, which is absolutely fine, and maybe this one will take 6 months. It very well might. But the fact that this one went so quickly gives me hope that this one will go as well. That being said, the one that's not rooted does feel a little bit more dehydrated. This one has properly perked up. It feels fully hydrated. I think that might be because it has roots. That would make sense. Whereas this one, I don't know if you can tell the difference in sort of texture between the two. It's like a lot more wrinkly and not filled up with water, and maybe this was the one that I've had that was older, that's been sitting out for longer, and so it's not quite as healthy of a plant, and that's why it's taking longer. Or maybe it's just not destined to root. I have previously tried this method, not after leaving them for so long, leaving them for like a day or something to callus over before putting them in the water, and those have all just rotted. I think the answer is to leave them weeks and weeks / months and months and months and months before putting them back in, and that is going to be the better option. But I cannot believe, I am astounded by how quickly these roots grew in. It's like properly rooted, and so I cannot wait until it starts putting on new growth and what that's gonna look like. That's gonna be so exciting. It is a fun journey, and I'm really glad I've done this now, because I was not expecting these to work. I was literally expecting these to rot fully, and they haven't. One of them's rooted. Oh my god, I love it. Okay, I need to do something about this window, because this is not okay. I'm being blinded right now. Is that okay? Is that not too dark? Hopefully it's fine. Okay, well, carrying on, I think I want to talk about this one. I know that I just showed you my Majestic this month in a plant that I haven't showed you in a while video, but since then, it has just been popping off. I have filled it up to the top with moss, and it has just been growing and growing and growing. It's got a new leaf coming out right now, and it is such a happy plant. I didn't expect it to like get growing so quick. You can also see the crazy like size up in stem between that and that. Be cool if they stopped doing that. Sorry about that, that was really annoying. But you can definitely see there's a difference in the stem size when the leaves are smaller versus at the top, where they are getting quite big. And yes, it is about to grow off the top of the pole. And I don't know exactly what I'm going to do about it then, because I don't really have room inside of the Mills bow right now to extend it up vertically. Maybe I could do like a half a half pole extension, it would not be able to be very big. But I definitely need to do something with it because I want it to keep growing this sort of beautiful big foliage. I feel like it is so striking that I want it to keep going. But yeah, it's just been so fun to watch this like popping out new leaves and growing so well for me. I was not expecting this one to, when I got it, as like such small cuttings get so big. Like I knew they did, but I've in general had difficulty sizing up some plants that are like this, like the Varicosums. I've always really struggled with them, and this is a hybrid of that. So I was like, maybe I'm not going to be able to get it to size up and grow bigger, but I think I can, and I think that it is going to just like get even bigger from here. I cannot wait to see what this looks like this time next year. It's just such a beautiful plant, and I have such high hopes for it. Similarly, I'm gonna pull this one out, which is freaking difficult to show you just because it's so gigantic. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to like insert B-roll of this because this is obviously not its very best angle. But this is my Philodendron Glorious, and it has done so well adapting to the pole after I chopped it and extended. I'm so glad that it's doing well. This was the top cut that I put in the bottom, and it is obviously putting out a new leaf, and it's going to be a big one. Like compared to my head, it's gonna be a big leaf. And then it's also got new growth in here off of the bottom cutting where I cut, and that looks to be a decent size as well. Like all of the leaves in here are actually quite well sized, and it's just becoming such a full big plant. Gosh, oh, it's just like, it's so big, and I love having this one in my home and watching it grow. I honestly feel like this could easily be one of my favorite plants of the year. Maybe I'll do a video of my favorite plants of the whole year, or plants that have grown the best for me this year, or that I've been the most proud of this year. Is that something y'all would want? If it is, I can do that instead of my December favorites video. If that's something that you fancy. Put the little metal emoji down below in the comments so I can give you the best plants of my 2023 video next month rather than just the monthly plants. But honestly, I've got a feeling this one will be on it. It definitely won't be the only one on it, but I just cannot believe that this plant exists for me. I've had it for nearly 2 years now, and it is just out of this world. And I would highly recommend a Glorious to anybody. If you can possibly get your hands on a Glorious, I'd say do it, because they are something else and grow so well, at least in my home. I cannot guarantee that all of them are going to grow well, but I feel like the hybridization of this one has really helped it out quite a lot, because like a normal Melanochrysum, y'all know I can't do them. It's like similar to with the Varicosum. I can't do the like non-hybridized, but as soon as it's hybridized, I'm like, yes, give it to me. It's doing so well. So there's something to say about philodendron hybrids. They're top notch. Got really scared for a second there, because there's some sphagnum moss on the back of this leaf. I thought it was thrips, and I could not handle that. I genuinely couldn't handle that, but it's not. It wasn't thrips, it was just moss. Thank goodness, because that would have been really bad. I would have been so immensely upset. I don't think I could have another favorites video where I find pests. I think I would be heartbroken if that were the case. So fingers crossed for the rest of these that that isn't one that I know I can't find pests on because it's not actually a plant. This specific spray bottle has been an absolute lifesaver for me this month. Like I said earlier, I've been treating every single one of the plants in my collection for pests. Not all of them have pests, but I feel like I may as well just go around and do all of them because I don't want the pests to like start finding ones that haven't been treated and move on to them. But the first few plants I treated with sulfur fungicide, I did it with a hand sprayer, just where you and it sprays. And oh my goodness, my hand would get so tired and the nozzle would clog up, and I think I basically broke my spray bottle. So I decided I need something bigger and better, and I got myself this. It's a little hand pump 1.5 liter pumpy spray bottle. You just like pump this up. It's kind of like my like Ghostbusters like waterer, but in a spray bottle version. And oh my goodness, it makes spraying my plants and treating them so much easier. It is an absolute breeze compared to the amount that I had to pump to get the spray out. This one also does have quite a fine spray. It is adjustable, which is good, so I can adjust it to be big enough to get the sulfur out of the bottle while still being fine enough to go on the plants evenly. And it hasn't seemed to be having any issues with it being sulfur water in there. And it has just been a lifesaver, and I don't think that I would have been able to treat all of the plants in my collection as easily had it not been for this. I would be dreading doing it every single day. I mean, I'm still not enjoying doing it. It's not the most fun thing for me, but it is something that I know I have to do, and having this has just made the job so much easier and made it actually bearable. So I highly recommend this for any sort of treatments on plants. I feel like you could totally use this with something like Photo Plus to spray around. It would do wonders for that. Like, I just think it would do so well. Pest treatments or any sort of things that you're spraying onto your plants, something like this. Amazing. Highly, highly, highly recommend. I will link it down below in the description because I really recommend it. Also, I'm not going to do it here because I don't want to spray sulfur water all over my carpet, but it has a lock on it as well. This, so when you push this down, it sprays, and then this lock bit goes underneath and it'll hold it down. So I don't even have to hold the button down if I don't want to. I can just get it to lock and then go around spraying like this. I don't have to hold it tensiony in my hands, which is even better. So, fabulous little thing. Highly recommend. I wish I had gotten one sooner in my plant journey. I do not know why I didn't get one for like the first 5 years of me taking care of plants, because it's honestly the best. Next on the list is an oldie but a goodie. It has just been such a reliable little guy over these past few months. This is my Hoya Parasitica. One, I am loving how well it's growing on this little circle trellis. I have put several vines around it at this point. It is growing like crazy. It loves the trellis, but also it is just growing so many leaves. This is one that I have washed off to better show you like the amazingness of it, because it does have beautiful splashy variegation, and it is again getting sun stress. Like, it's coming in pink there, which is so cute. It lives inside of my Millsbow, where I know that I had flat mites. I know that there were plants near this one that had flat mites, and yet it has just continuously been growing, not even phased by anything. If it did have flat mites, it showed no signs of any issues, was just continuing to grow out so well, and I am so proud of it. Of course, I am still treating it. I'm not gonna stop treating it just because I don't think it has pests. If it's in an area that has pests, I'm gonna do something with it, and I'm gonna have to spray it again after this video because I've wiped all the sulfur off. But I'm just so proud of this one, and it's one that I am really enjoying within my Millsbow cabinet, and I'm not enjoying all of them in there purely because of all of the treatment issues I've had to be doing, and I just feel like it's very consistent, where a lot of plants aren't as consistent. This one has just been slow and steadily growing so well and so beautifully. I just love it so much. I am a little bit worried, however, that once I get more leaves around this section, I'm going to need a bigger trellis. At some point I will need to put this one on a bigger trellis. I don't know what I'm gonna do when that needs to happen, because like I feel like a lot of the vines have like gone woody at this point, making them harder to bend. Like they're just in place now. So I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it off this trellis. Maybe I'm just gonna have to not cut my losses, but make a whole new plant out of cuttings after it grows fully around this one, because I don't think I'm ever gonna be able to take that off the trellis. But I don't care, it looks cute on the trellis. I really like it on the trellis. Next on the list is this one. It is, of course, one of my favorites this month because it was a wish list plant that I bought myself this month. I am so excited for it. It is a variegated Euphorbia Ingens, and this one has been one that I've wanted for so long. I've always thought they looked really cool, but could never like justify buying one previously because I've not been great with cacti and succulents before. But after having so much success with them this year in the Rudsta, I decided to treat myself and get one of my big wish list plants. And if you saw my House of Kojo haul video where I got this one, it turned out to be way bigger than I expected it to be. I expected to come in about there. That's what the picture online looked like. It was about that tall. I don't think it was a picture of this exact one, but this is easily double the height of what I was planning it to be, which has come with a little bit of issues. I'm very glad to have gotten a bigger plant than expected, but at the same time, it doesn't fit in the Rudsta with the shelf I have in there now, so I need to figure out something else to do with it. For these past couple weeks, it has just been living in my bathroom, which is windowless, so probably not the best place for it. Like long term, I don't think I can keep it in there. Maybe I need to do my Rudsta again and further remodel it, give it a place where I can get some height, because I think technically something this big could fit into it if I didn't have the shelf in there, but because I put the shelf in there, it won't. So maybe I'll have to look into some options there, but I just love this one so much. And my favorite part of it, which I didn't even like realize when I was unboxing it, is this section here with these little swirly bits of variegation. Where's the other one? Sorry, it's quite hard to move this around because it's so pointy. This bit too, like that there, is so cool. Like, I just really love the little spots it gets on it. I didn't realize that the variegation's almost like reversed in this one, where it's lighter and it gets dark spots, but I love it. And like the striping up at the top, I don't think this is going to stay like it does at the bottom. Maybe it will. I don't know. I don't know how these grow in. I've not had this one long enough to comment on its growth yet, but suffice it to say, I am obsessed with this one, and I feel like it is the perfect like cactus succulent treat. I know it is a succulent, not a cactus, but it's the perfect cacti and succulent treat to give myself after really accomplishing one of my like goals, which I will be talking about in a future video as well, my goals for 2023 and how I did on them. But this was my prize for doing so well on my goal of keeping cacti and succulents alive. I've actually kept things alive for a year. Previously that would have never happened. I could not keep a cactus alive. But now I've learned and I've grown, and I just want to hug this one, but I don't want to stab myself in the face 1,000 times, so I'm probably not going to, but I love this one so much. It's so cool, and I cannot wait to figure out how to like properly integrate it into my collection and see how it grows, because it's just going to be so much fun. watching it, and I'm just so glad I have one now. Wishlist plant acquired! Yay! Another non-plant specific thing, but a planty item that I'm really feeling right now is my Akerbar Greenhouse cabinet. Ever since I kind of remodeled it, redid it, renovated it, I have been loving how it is looking. I think having it look nice has made me want to care for it even more. I have found myself dusting it since I did that video, and I never once previously dusted the Akerbar, and so I just feel like it's finally working for me in the way that I want it to. And I know it is still early days, but I feel like if I can keep up this momentum with it, it will do great things. I think I've also figured out the weather stripping on it in order to keep the humidity up a little bit. I have put it on the outside of the bottom, which I still think doesn't look amazing, but it is better with nothing. And I suppose I could cover it with like electrical tape or something in order to get the black back of the frame, but it doesn't really matter. I'm trying not to care too much about aesthetics there, but I do think that is the best place for it on this one, especially seeing as it actually has something to hold on to in this space, where it didn't in the previous place I put it on in that video. It's all trial and error, and I'm figuring out things as I go, just like all of you. But yeah, I'm really loving how it looks, and with the Soltech light in it, it just creates such a warm, glowy space that I actually have the desire to keep the area looking nice and clean and tidy, rather than letting it get as cluttered as it previously got. So yeah, I'm actually dusting it, which is like 1,000 times better than before because I didn't dust it at all before. And so as long as I'm keeping up with that kind of stuff, I feel like I am in a good place with it, and I just love it. I think it looks so pretty, and I'm so glad that I've finally feel like I've figured it out a little bit, because it had been sitting in my home for far too long, just like going wrong. So very glad about that. And then I think the last one, I've shown all of these. The last one that I want to be showing you today is dun, da, da, da. Sorry, that was a bit premature. My El Choco Red. This one, it took a hiatus on growing new leaves for a little bit. It grew these first three, 1, 2, 3, a while back in quite close succession, and then just didn't do anything for quite a while. I think it might have been pest related, because I know it was in an area that had thrips, and I think I saw thrips on this one, but I have obviously since treated it with the silver fungicide, and since I did that, it put out this new leaf, which is opening up beautifully. Look at that. It is so soft and velvety, and I know I probably should treat this leaf as well, because I want to be treating like all new growth as it comes out, and I will, but I wanted to show it to you in this video first because it is so stunning, like literal perfect heart-shaped leaf. And the back has got that beautiful red on it, hence rubra juvenile. But yeah, this is another one that's like, I'm pretty sure it's a varicosum hybrid, and it does so well where the varicosum doesn't. All of the philodendrons I've had in this video have been hybrids. I feel like I only like philodendron hybrids these days. I don't actually like that many non-hybridized philodendrons at the minute. Have I gone off philodendrons? Not totally, but somewhat. I think I have actually somewhat gone off philodendrons. I don't know. Maybe that's something to explore in a different video. Not for right now. For now, we just talk about the joy of the El Choco Red and how wonderfully it is doing. This one, I think it still has a little bit of sizing up to do. I hope it does get a little bit bigger. Like, I hope it gets to the size of this leaf here. That would be amazing. But I would understand if it didn't, just purely because it is dealing with the trauma of going through with pests. Dealing with the trauma of having pests still. So we will see with it, but for now I am just loving it so much again, and I feel like it's loving life again, and I feel like we're in such a good spot again. I'm just so happy with it. I love it so much. Very, very, very exciting things going on in my collection. My plants are still growing like crazy, even though it is cooler and darker. I feel like I'm supplementing with like heat and light in my home, but in general it is cooler and darker, so I'm glad that they're still doing the good things. I am also fertilizing, so really their environment has not changed that much. That's why they're continuing to grow. But yeah, those were my top 10-ish, however many, this many plants and a couple planty things that I loved this past November. I feel like even though I've been doing so much and treating so much, I'm in a much better place right now with my collection, and maybe that's just because I'm being a bit more proactive about the issues and I'm finally actually doing something about it other than like complaining, which I know I was doing a lot of before, but I feel like part of dealing with pests is like admitting that there's a problem that needs to be addressed, and I feel like you need to get past that admittance stage before you can go into the treatment phase. And because it was such a big problem, it took me quite a long time to admit that I had a problem that needed to be worked on in my plant collection. Like, I knew it was going on, but it was hard to like wrap around my head and get it in there to make me get something done with them. But now I'm doing it and I'm feeling good and my plants are growing and it's all okay. For the most part. Obviously there's things going on still, but for the most part it's okay. Hopefully these treatments are gonna work and everything will be alright. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up down below and leave a comment on your favorite plants of the month of November. What has been growing well for you? Are your plants still growing this time of year? I am so curious to hear how your plants are doing. Let me know down below in the comments and subscribe for more. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Don't forget to keep growing. Bye!